Hi, my name is Khleif, and I'm the host of the Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing podcast. And every week I interview multifamily rock stars, and we talk about how they've built incredible wealth for themselves and their families through multifamily properties. So hit the like and subscribe buttons to get notified every Monday when a new episode comes out. Let's get to it. Welcome to another edition of How to Build Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing. I'm Khleif, and I am absolutely thrilled that you're here. And I get the pleasure of introducing and interviewing my friend Michael Blanc. Now, if you don't know who Michael is, then you're definitely not in the multifamily game. He's got his own incredible podcast, his own thought leadership platform. And because he and I do not have a scarcity mentality, we absolutely support each other and help each other. And that's why he's on my show today. And he's become a good friend. And just super excited to spend some time with him. Welcome, brother. Good to have you here.
Rod, great to be here.
Yeah. So, Michael's an entrepreneur. He's author of the Amazon bestseller, Financial Freedom with Real Estate Investing. His podcast is called Apartment Buildings Investing Podcast. And he's done a lot of investing on his own right, a lot of equity raising. And we're going to talk today about something that he's created that I'm excited to hear about and dig into. And we're going to start with some questions, but we're going to land the plane here towards the end with what it is that he's doing and how he might be able to help you. So let's get right into it. I mean, we've interviewed before. I know you've been on my show before. You've talked about your story. So if you guys want to know his story, I would say go listen to that initial episode. So we're going to get right into content with Michael today, so we maximize his time. So the first question I've got for you, my friend, is what's a big mistake that syndicators or wannabe syndicators are making when they're raising money or trying to raise money?
Yeah, they think they're in the real estate business. And they are. And they are, but they're not just in the real estate business. Because, right. And there's some people who may not be aware of this problem, but if you're out and you're raising money, usually you start with your sphere of influence. And that's, I always advise people to start there. But it will come a point after having even raised some money. You maybe have raised even $500,000 or even $1 million, which is fantastic. It's a great success. But you will eventually realize that you can't meet enough people. You can't have enough meetups where you can attract the capital. Where if you raise, let's say, $500,000 and you want to 10x that, how are you going to do that? You have no idea how you're going to do that. And so, Rod, you and I have been doing this for a while, and maybe it's second nature, but the answer to this question is you have to move your marketing online. Your marketing is one-on-one, word of mouth, and you have to do that so you know who is your investor. What are they saying? What do they want? What are they afraid of?
Where are they hanging out?
Where are they hanging out? And once you figure that out, you need to scale it up. So anyone listening to this who wants to scale their capital raising really has to pay attention to this stuff. And it's like a deer in the headlights. Every time I talk to people, they go, yeah, that's exactly, I want to 10x my capital raise. And like, well, what's your plan? I don't know. I can't meet enough people. and then we say, well, shoot, what have you started going online? Oh yeah. I got on a podcast. Yeah, I got on a podcast and I got a social media. I said, wow, that's fantastic. How are you capturing all those podcast listeners? What do you mean? It's unbelievable. And I just slapped myself up the head, and it's like, I can fix this problem, okay? I can literally fix this problem, and I will, and we're going to do it on the show.
All right. So and again, I know all the answers to these questions, so I'm going to try to ask them as questions, not as answers. But so what you're proposing is an online platform, yes? Or when you say online platform, are you just saying an online presence?
Yeah, I'm doing more than
platform, just. Yeah, what is your definition?
All right,
of platform?
so let's talk about a platform. Let's talk about a platform. So an online presence that's not an online platform.
Okay.
Neither is frankly having a podcast or even writing a book. It's a components of the platform. The problem I see people make is they put the cart before the horse. They might actually start a podcast, but how do you know who your listeners are? iTunes doesn't give you those. You could write a book. Well, Amazon doesn't give you all the readers. Like, how do you know you can't engage with them, right? So in other words, the solution to this problem is you need to capture people's email addresses. That's the key things. You have to keep it. Now you can have people, I can do things on Facebook. Well, Facebook right now recently is like cracking down on anything having to do with real estate. And did you know that starting, 2 years ago, when you post something on your Facebook page, like only 1% of your followers actually ever see it unless you pay for it. Like it's, So you can't actually reach your followers. You got 5,000, 10,000, who cares? You can only reach those people unless you pay for them. And not only that, but you're at the whim of whatever social platform you're on. So the key really is email, the oldest traditional way of reaching people. And the only way to do that is to capture emails so that, and this is the heart of the platform. The heart of the platform is really consisting of a way to capture a website visitor to your website. And they need a compelling reason, of course, to go on there, but to give you their email address. Why would they give you your email address? Now, when you go to syndicators' websites, like 98% of them have nothing on there except a nice little page. Great. No capture. Then the other 2% have join my newsletter. Like, who wants to join a newsletter? I don't want to join a newsletter. No, What we need is something compelling to give someone to download, right? Now, Rod, what do you do? When someone goes to your website?
I was just leaning over so I could hold these up. Okay. Yeah. What I do is I give away books. Book.
That's nice.
This book. And my main book, the 200-page book that I did, I gave away 20,000 copies of that thing. But everybody that got a copy, I got their email address. Okay, I got their their name. And so. And finally I put that thing on Amazon. So I created something, became a bestseller like yours did. And so I created something else that I give now so that I can create a relationship with people. And guys, that's what you're doing here is you're starting and creating a relationship. But you need the framework that Michael is talking about so that you organize this in a fashion where you're actually capturing their information so that you can create an outreach program and what I call keep them warm and build relationships so that when you need money, you have a database to go to.
That's right. Yeah. So what you're saying is you're giving them something compelling. You're giving them a book, and it could be a hard book like or it could be a download of something of value, right?
Sure.
And so the step number 2, we skipped step number 1. I'll get to the second. Is really capture. You want to capture the email. Now, step number 1 is attract, and attract has to do with your brand, right? So if you're, let's say, a doctor and you decide that you want to raise money from other doctors, well, you're probably going to write something, we call it a lead magnet, something of value that speaks to doctors. It could be something, hey, how to not burn out in your job, how to enjoy your job again or retire early or something like that, right? It doesn't even have to have real estate investing in there. Someone goes on there and goes, oh my gosh, I want to retire early. How do I do that? I'll give you my email for that thing. And so now you've captured. So attracting has to do with your brand. And,
it has to do with the headline, has to do with the messaging and all of that.
But
let me throw something else in there. Yeah. One that works really well that I got from a guy named Chet Holmes' book called The Ultimate Sales Machine is use a negative headline, like the 5 biggest mistakes people make before they invest in multifamily or something. People read negative news, which is why, I don't watch the news anymore because it's so freaking negative.
Yeah.
So basically you are attracting them. You're calling that attraction. Okay.
Well, I'm calling it attract. I'm saying any attraction part is your brand. It's right. Who are you? It's who are you? And a good brand attracts certain people and repels others, right? So, if you want to be rich, you might be attracted to Grant Cardone because he's got the Bentley and the jet. If you want financial freedom, you might be attracted to me, right? And the same thing for you and other people. And this is, you talked about the scarcity, mentality and abundance mentality. There's enough out there because some people resonate with this person or that person. The point is being clear about who you are so you attract the right person, and then you're going to repel those people. And so that's the attract part, being clear about who you are, and that is then evident in your messaging, such as the second step is the capture, which is talked about. So the second step then is to actually capture the lead when they come to your website. Now, I made this mistake for a long time, Rod, is I made several mistakes. I made all these mistakes. While I've been in the online marketing business for 6 years now, I didn't connect the dots between my capital raising and the online marketing. So about, a year and a half ago, we tried to do a deal and we struggled to raise money for this deal. And I was like, what the heck? My list is huge. And it is huge, but when someone has downloaded my lead magnet, they got thank you for downloading my lead magnet, and they never heard from me again. Right. And so when we finally came out with a deal, it was like, who's this guy again? Right. Like,
Right.
I don't even know who this guy is. It's probably in the spam folder at this point. So the second step really is to, once you've captured, is you want to serve them. Okay. You want to serve your audience. And specifically the way you're serving your audience is typically by educating them and providing value of some sort, which in our world is education and content, right? So the serving has a lot to do with regular content production of some sort, typically weekly in a variety of formats: video, podcast, blog, email. It doesn't really matter what, but you're serving your audience, and so they're learning from you because you're adding value to them, and they're also being engaged. So that's and you're super consistent with all the. Let me tell you this: all the large syndicators at capital raise are doing exactly what I'm just describing, what you're doing, what I'm doing, and there's other people that are doing that as well.
Sure.
And you're super consistent with creating content.
Hey, even if I'm sick, I'm out there. Like
the average syndicator's like, yeah, I don't have the time for that.
So do you have a solution for the average syndicator, or you just need here to kick them in the butt and say, if you want this, you got to be consistent? So what's your spin on this?
Yeah, I'm going to do, right now I'm kicking them in the butt, right? It's really,
good.
Like with everything, Ron, you would agree with that. Everything's a mindset thing. The how is always a secondary detail once you get acknowledgement, but it's, so many people are producing content on a regular basis that everyone can do it. It's just literally a mindset thing. It's a mindset thing, and I will tell you, I'll tell you the end goal, and you've seen it firsthand yourself. When you put out a deal and you do a live webinar, which comes at the very tail end of what I'm talking about here, and you put out a deal and you do an email, do 3 email blasts to a live webinar, and you send out the recording, and then you call for soft commits, and all of a sudden, before you know it, there's $7 million in the bank 4 days later. You're like, holy cow.
Yeah.
And why is that? It's because of the platform. It's because the trust that you build with people you've possibly, first of all, you haven't met before, but you nurture them and you have conversations with them, and they feel, and rightly so, that they know and trust you because you've spoken to them every single week for the last 3, 4, 5 months. And so you're serving your audience, but you're also inherently then building trust, and that gives you the right to go to step 4, which is to lead.
Oh, hold on. Let's wait on step 4 one second. I want to hammer home something you just said. Let's
hammer home.
Yeah, because step 3 is the biggest. Well, I don't know, not the biggest, but a huge piece of this, guys. And
I think so.
If you want this, and I know you do, if you want this, then you must be consistent. So there's 2 things that when you're building this brand and you're nurturing these people that have taken the time to raise their hand and say, yeah, send me what you have. You've got to be consistent with your communication with them. And this is where most people fail. So there's 2 keys here. One is add value. Second is consistency. And that applies to any medium that you're going to use to not only build reach, but to nurture the people that get into your tribe. So like if you're going to use a social media platform, like a podcast, like a YouTube channel, like a Facebook group, like a LinkedIn page, Instagram, whatever, the 2 keys there are add value and be consistent. When they get into your funnel, it's the same freaking keys. Now, do you have to write all the content? No, you can curate content and send them articles and say, hey, I thought you might find this interesting. So it doesn't have to be brutal, but you have to stay in front of them. Would you agree with what I just said?
No, I totally agree, and this is an area where people are a bit hazy on. So maybe let's talk about that. Like, the keys to consistent creative content. One of the biggest challenges people have, and first is, well, what should I talk about? And here's some solutions to this problem. The best source of what you should talk about or write about or whatever is from your potential investors, from your audience, right? Because they will ask you stupid questions. Well, what's the investment process like? How long does it take? How much money can I make? What are the risks? How do I invest in the IRA? What is their market outlook? So they're asking all these, quote, stupid questions, and you're getting them all the time from investors. Well, there's your blog post topics right there. And then, if you run out of stuff, then you can do other thing is curating it. What's Rod putting out? I'm just gonna get some idea from Rod. And
definitely want to see what he's putting out.
Yeah, definitely. What's Rod putting out? Oh, he just wrote about the coronavirus and how it's going to be great for multifamily syndicators. Well, maybe there's just some great ideas from other syndicators, but really paying attention to emails that you're getting from your audience, Facebook.
You could do a Google alert and on whatever submarket that you're interested in. And anytime something positive gets thrown out there in the media, you send that, with a little blurb. Right.
That's great. It doesn't really take much. I think the point is just committing to it.
Right.
And the other, that's a big one is, oh my gosh, what should I write or talk about?
Right.
And the other one is, well, how do I do it? I'm not a writer.
Right.
I don't like the way I look on video, right? Like, okay, so here's my solution to this. If you love to write, then freaking write, right? Just write. And then you can literally use it as a script to record a video. Like, that's easy. Or if you don't like to write, you can record a video and then get it transcribed with, solutions like Temi.com or
Otter on your phone. It'll just transcribe it in seconds.
So transcribe it, and then you can either edit it yourself or you can have someone edit it for you. But a lot of time, the problem with writing, as you know, sometimes you're staring at a blank page. You're like, what should I write about? What should I write about? And so when you speak into your phone or you record a video and you transcribe it, you're no longer dealing with a blank page. Now you're in editing mode, and it's relatively easy now to put out content. And the other mistake people make, because we confuse things a lot. You got to make sure you SEO and use the headlines and bolds. Yeah. But at the end of the day, the reason people don't do it is they feel like the standard is so high, they want to be perfectionists and they don't do it. So my advice is to you is just get something out there. Everyone, I mean, I'm sure you laugh at your own content from like a year ago. I do. I'm like, oh my gosh, look at that. Look at that camera I was losing. My goodness gracious. Or, whatever. And it doesn't matter, right? The point is that you do the best you can, but you do not strive for perfection, because if you do that, you never get anything out.
Well, listen, let's be real. If you're striving for perfection, you're fearful, and you're using that as an excuse, frankly. And you know this, those of you that do this know who you are. And bottom line is, you just have to take action. And if I look at my first videos I did, good God, I'm like, oh my, look at that. Look at that moron there. I was like, holy cow, it's embarrassing. But you just do it, and then you get better as you do it, and you get better, and you get better, and you get better, and the fear goes away. You just got to take that first step. Now, I can't stress enough the commitment component here that Michael's talking about. Don't do it unless you're committed to sticking with it. Critical. All right. So what are you talked about some of the mistakes. So let's talk about the right way to build what you're calling a platform.
Yeah, well, the right way is to build in the right sequence. And what I see most people doing is they start with my fifth step, which is they're promoting themselves. They actually get on someone's podcast. They maybe even get on yours or mine. Right. And then at the end, they shout out their website, and I go to the website and it's like nothing there. And the other thing I explain to people, when someone has you on your podcast, they're not going to have you back for at least 12 months, right? There's no way. So you kind of blew it. You got your name out there, and now you actually got someone so interested they went into your website and you don't even know who they were. What a shame. So in other words, people are promoting themselves, or they go to meetups or even they're promoting themselves before they have this platform built, because it's not just enough to capture a lead. You actually have to serve them, like we talked about, which implies a certain technical infrastructure and a commitment to producing content. And behind the scenes, you can automate a lot of those things using a variety of different technology platforms, that when someone actually downloads your lead magnet, there is an automatic series of emails that get triggered, for example.
Sure.
Okay, that's
all
super
sorts
important.
Of platforms
You're welcoming someone. Same thing when you're in the fourth step, which is when you're leading someone. So when you're serving someone, you earn the right to lead them somewhere. Like in the beginning, Rod, if I tell him, hey, you gained a couple pounds, then you should lop off some. You're like, who the hell are you, right? Mm-hmm. But if I have a relationship with you and I've served you, provide value, I can probably make some suggestions. You're like, oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, you're right about that. And so same thing here. At one point, you want to lead them to something, and it could be in a platform. It could be anything. It could be to buy a book or do something or take some kind of action. In our case, in the syndication, the call to action is invest in my deal. That's the call to action. So when I do have a deal, then at that point, I'm now leading them to a path of investing in multifamily, because we all believe that investing in stocks is the dumbest thing ever. And so we are serving our audience. We're educating our audience about alternatives to that. And at one point, we want to lead them down that road. And that's the fourth step, where we earn that right. And people kind of go, wow, this is great. And they consider investing with you. And so all that stuff can be automated. So the emails that are being put out, a lot of stuff can be automated. So you have this core platform in place. Okay, we've talked about the capturing, the serving through content, and then the webinars and the soft commit automations. That process can be automated. And the last step now is the promotion part. Okay, the last step is the promotion part. And now you can get on people's podcasts, right? Because if I get on your podcast, I can say, I'm at so-and-so and I got this fantastic ebook or special report that your audience would really like, and it's available at blah. And now people can go, well, I'm going to check out the special report. And now I have the ability to capture leads, right? And you do that very well, and we try to do it very well. Every time you're speaking in front of a meetup, you say, hey, if you want to find out more about investing in multifamily syndications, check out my special report at, xyz.com. People go, they write it down, and so now your biggest problem at this point becomes putting enough leads into the funnel, because what happens is when they go through the funnel, they download this lead magnet, they get on their automations, you're welcome. And in our case, our call to action is to join our club. Okay, so you download the lead magnet. Hey, we can't present you with deals right now because I don't know who the heck you are, but why don't you join our investment club? And in order to do that, we have to actually have a phone call with you. And so click the button so you can schedule a call with us. And if you don't click the button, then we chase you a little bit, and then we stop chasing you. And then when you get an email article, then at the bottom it says, oh, we noticed you haven't scheduled a call with us yet. Schedule a call because I can't show you a deal. And so what happens is our investor relations guy, they wake up and they just have 4 investor calls that day, and it's happened automatically because it's integrated with Calendly. So these automations, in other words, the syndicator's experience is essentially one of order taker. As long as you're putting out consistent content, all these automations are essentially automatic. And so when you have a live deal, you then send the deal to those people you've only had conversations with, and you can tag them in the whatever CRM system you're using. You use ActiveCampaign, you might be using something else, but you tag those people, and I call them deal ready. These are people that are, quote, deal ready. They've jumped through our hoops, and I can now present them with a live deal. And so now I can blast to that list of deal ready, and that list keeps growing every single day, every single week. So when I have a live deal, all of a sudden, and I call for soft commits, I have millions within days, and it's stunning. It really is stunning, and that is how you can 10x your current capital raise.
Do you, just as a quick aside, do you do 506B mostly or 506C?
Yeah, we do mostly, if not all, 506B.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that, guys, that's the SEC exemption where you actually have to have a relationship. So that's why he's saying we have to have a phone call with you. We have to get to know you, probably more than one call with you, because we have to have a substantive understanding of your financial situation. And so versus a 506C, which is what we do, where you have to be accredited so that we can actually market deals. So that's the difference there. So I know that you've got an actual product that you've put together here, Michael, relating to this platform that people can utilize to set up this lead attraction capture presentation model. How can people get access to that?
Yeah, it's actually a free on-demand training. It's at themichaelblank.com/platform. And it's a recorded training I did, and it kind of goes deeper on the elements of the platform, and I even show you some of the technical elements that we use. I find that a lot of syndicators are afraid of tech, and I just show them a few things and like, man, anyone can do this. And I just kind of really show the order with which we build them and how to do that, and then the results. So I'm just going a little deeper and do some screen shares about 30 minutes. So it's at themichaelblank.com/platform.
Nice.
And, if people give us feedback that they want to go deeper, then we'll figure out what to do with that. But I'm really excited about that.
So guys, what's he doing here? He's getting leads. Okay. So he's doing exactly what he's telling you to do. Which is get leads for investors. Now, Michael's got an educational platform, and then, this is filling that funnel. So here's a perfect example of what we're talking about here. And of course, I use books, I go on podcasts, and I have a free download or whatever. And that's how this, and it's the same thing with investors. And so, I have a booklet that, the questions that a limited partner should ask a general partner, and other things like that that'll add value to prospective passive investors. And that's how this online game is won. So awesome. Was there a question I didn't ask you about this, buddy?
I don't know. I think we covered it pretty thoroughly, but
I think so too.
I didn't discover this until, like I said, fairly recent. And again, it's amazing that I've been doing this online thing for a while, but even I really did not connect the online marketing with the capital raising real estate side. I always thought they were completely separate, maybe possibly synergistic businesses. But, you know, I'm getting better at it. But, you know, Grant Cardone is like the master at this. Like,
Well,
he
sure.
has figured out his entire marketing is around raising capital. Like, everything he does is Grant Cardone. You know, that's all he
10X,
does.
10X was, I heard it was all about raising capital. I heard that from people.
You know, and he's figured it out. And I probably didn't click in my head until like 18 months ago, which is pretty slow for being involved in this thing. And I just saw other people they're outperforming us. I'm like, wonder why. It's because I wasn't doing anything that I was describing on the capital raise side. So
I love it. You know, we've been blessed just because, you know, my podcast has been so well received that, you know, literally I can put it on the podcast and have, you know, our dance card filled. We raised $8 million in about 5 days, you know, just a couple weeks ago. But you know, those of you that are, you know, getting going in this, you want to raise money, you want to raise more money, you absolutely need some sort of a lead generation system that Michael's calling a platform, so that you can keep the list warm. Well, listen, brother, I appreciate you adding value. Guys, check out his thing at themichaelblank.com/platform. And it's great to spend a little bit of time with you, my friend.
That's great. Great to be here, Rod. Thanks for having me.
Take care.